Well, good evening and welcome to Goodison Park for matchday 10 of this Premier League weekend. Everton v Leeds is the fixture. My name's Rich Wolfenden and I am joined, as always, by Sarah Halpin. How are we, Sarah?
I'm very well, thank you, Rich, all things considered, and it's lovely, isn't it, to be back at the Grand Old Lady and under the lights as well, against Leeds. What a game.
Under the lights in the absolute freezing cold winter weather here on Merseyside.
You didn't get your two joggers on like me, Rich.
I know, I should have done that. I wore my summer
Rookie
socks as well. Absolute nightmare. But here we are, 3 points on the road last weekend down in the capital. Leeds today, new to the Premier League. It's going to be an interesting evening, isn't it?
It's going to be a really interesting evening, you know, and watching Leeds last weekend against Arsenal, it was 0-0, and I think Leeds were very unfortunate not to get all 3 points, so they'll be revved up for this one. But of course, we were back to winning ways against Fulham. Massive win that for the Blues, and hopefully we can make it back-to-back wins and get right back in there amongst the mix of things where we should be. Yeah,
well, it was certainly an intriguing game, should we say, down on the banks of the old Thames down there. Great first half performance. Second half, you know, could have done a little bit better, I suppose. But 3 points at the end of the day was the main thing, really, wasn't it?
Absolutely, Rich. You know, as you said, first half, I thought this is going to be really enjoyable, really pleasant second half to watch. A nice lazy Sunday. When they pulled one back, it wasn't quite that way. But, you know, we got there. We got the win over the line, and that was the main thing. So yeah, let's look to continue that today. It's going to be tough though.
It was a change of shape last week, wasn't it? We had 3 centre backs. We had Dean as like the left wing back and Iwobi as the right wing back.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Alex Iwobi, our new right back, apparently.
I think so. You know, he was, credit to him, he was absolutely fantastic. You know, involved in the goals as well, and you know, to be thrown in somewhere by the manager and just give it your best. And I think he said after the game, didn't he? You know, he'll play wherever it is that Carlo asks him to play and give it his best. And you can't ask for more than that from an Everton player. So if he's out there again today, I'm sure he'll give it his very best, and hopefully more of the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And Calvert-Lewin, of course, he's a Sheffield lad, isn't he? And he's playing Leeds today. I'm sure he'd love to bag a goal. 2 against Fulham. He can't do any wrong, can he?
Calvert-Lewin scores goals, doesn't he? Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores goals. Water is wet. It's what happens. And yeah, I was actually on the radio last week at the time when he scored, and I got the notification through a minute in saying it's 1-0. Richarlison assist. Calvert-Lewin scores. So yeah, love to see him. I think he could set a record today.
Or could he? Or what's that record?
I think it is. I saw something like Les Ferdinand had the most goals in the opening 10. I could be wrong, but right. He seems to be breaking records, whatever he does at the moment, doesn't he? So, yeah, let's hope that Calvert-Lewin is on the score sheet for Everton again today.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, well, we'll hopefully get that confirmed. from
we'll be back to you on that one.
Absolutely. But so Leeds have had a bit of an iffy start. It's been a long time since we played them here. How do you see today going? It's so hard to call, isn't it?
It's so hard to call because, as I said, you know, watching Leeds, and I'll be honest, they're one of my favourite teams to watch in the Premier League this season. I think they're entertaining. I think with a coach like Bielsa as well, it's fantastic. But they're a very tough side, and they will have a go. We all know that their intensity they play at is dangerous. But yeah, let's hope that the Blues back on home turf will have enough to get the win today and stay at the right end of the table.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get 2 back-to-back wins. Of course, we were down in London last weekend where we came away with 3 points against a tricky Fulham side. welcome back to Goodison Park. As you can see, I'm joined by today's guest. Over 200 appearances for Leeds, 100 appearances for Everton, a couple of dozen England caps as well. It's Mr. Nigel Martyn is the guest today. How you doing, Nigel?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. A nice cold evening for you at Merseyside. You've experienced a few of these. Memories of just playing at this ground. There's got to be loads in Leeds colours, in Blues colours as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at the pitch. The pitch is absolutely immaculate. It was always the best pitch in the whole of the Premier League. Wherever you went, this was the one I look forward to coming to the most. And then to obviously be able to get a chance to play here was amazing as well. So, you know, it looks an absolute picture there. I'm really looking forward to seeing some live football because we've all missed it really.
Yeah, well, it's lovely to have you back in the ground before. Last time I seen you, I think you were stood in between those two sticks, so it's nice to have you stood next to me today. So remember, you can get questions in to Nigel, hashtag Everton Live over on Twitter. If you've got any questions about his time at Leeds, at Everton, for England, whatever it is, Sarah will ask them to Nigel later on. But we'll keep them clean as well, please. Yeah, so today then, a tough game. Leeds obviously up from the Championship last season. Interesting management style through Bielsa. What can Carlo Ancelotti's Blues expect today?
I agree. You know, the way Leeds play, it's entertaining to watch. You know, they do keep the ball very well. So it's about losing possession. So when each side loses possession today, the first pass has to be forward and quick. And I think there's going to be a lot of counter-attacking football because that's the way both teams really like to go. And I can see it being high scoring. Defensively, probably not, you know, the strongest parts of both teams. But going forward, they both look really dangerous. So hopefully, this will be a very entertaining fixture.
Yeah, well, Bamford's one of the highest scorers in the Premier League at the moment. I don't think anybody saw that being the case before the season began. Has he impressed you?
He has. I mean, I think it's the volume of chances that Leeds actually create. You know, with you know, the players that when they're going forward, they go forward fast and in numbers, and they get the ball in the box a lot. And you know, once Bamford gets on the end, you know, you'd probably like a slightly higher conversion rate, but you know, they're giving him that many chances at the moment. You know, he's right up there in the scoring charts.
Yeah, and also in the midfield they've got Calvin Phillips, who's an England international now as well. They're really going forward, aren't they, at the moment, Leeds? What can Phillips bring to this side? I
think he was an important player to get back for the Arsenal game. You know, he'd missed 2 or 3 games before that. I think, you know, both the 4-1 losses with a shoulder injury. So getting him back was important for Leeds. You know, he does a very similar job to Allen, you know, for Everton. So it's going to be good. I think they're looking forward to having him back. He does make them a more solid team. When they're attacking, you know, they can rely on him to break things up.
Yeah, well, he's one to keep an eye on, that's for sure, today. But enough about Leeds, let's talk about Everton. So we won down on the banks of the Thames last weekend against Fulham. Bit of a change of shape. Do you reckon we'll do that again today? 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs?
I don't know, to be honest. You know, with Lucas Digne now being out, I mean, he's absolutely perfectly suited for that. You know, he's great going forward. He's got great delivery, as we saw for, you know, Decore's got a great ball in, but defensively he's very strong as well. So he would fit into, you know, a 5 at the back, or, you know, whichever sort of formation he wants to play really well. I don't know. You know, Carlo might want to change it again, bearing in mind that he's missing. But you know, we'll all wait and see how they line up. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So you mentioned Lucas Digne. I mean, we'll see the team news in about 5 minutes or so. We'll have before anybody else. On the other side, last week Iwobi started as the right wing back. He's not played there before for Everton. Do you reckon he's done enough in that Fulham game to warrant a start tonight? Because he looked pretty flipping impressive.
He did. I mean, you know, if you look at the run he went on for the which led to the 3rd goal, it was a great run. Yeah, I think it's certainly a way of playing. You know, when Dean is fit, you can sort of pivot around so they can sort of go back to a 4 very quickly, with Iwobi just pushing on, so that, you know, they can pivot and play that way. And I'm sure that's what Carlo's been doing. You know, there were still a few defensive issues, I thought, from last weekend, but when you change a shape like that, and he probably only had a couple of days to work on it because it was straight after the international. So, yeah, you know, this week, if they're going to keep that shape, they would have had more time working on it. So that would have been an important week. But, you know, with Lucas's injury, I don't know how he's going to set up now.
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, you can see on the screen in front of you now that we've got pictures of the players arriving at Goodison Park this evening. We just saw Fabian Delthird. Do you reckon he could be starting at left back today?
It's an option, yeah, absolutely. You know, brings a lot of experience. Would know what to do in the position. You know, and you'd have to be careful with whichever way you go, because you know Leeds will want to exploit the space in behind the fullbacks if they can. You know, that's one of the areas they do try and do. So you're going to have to be careful, and you know whoever plays this got to do the job correctly.
Yeah, as well, we're just seeing Mason Holgate there with a fresh trim. He's had his injury issues over the last few weeks. Do you reckon if it's a back three today, he'll slot right in at that back line with Keane and Mina maybe?
Yeah, that's another option. Another option.
We're going for them all.
Yeah, it's really difficult because you know once you get an injury to somebody who's definitely going to be in the side, it does affect your feelings of the shape that you want to play. So, you know, I don't know. You know, and Carlo could actually turn it back around and try and surprise another manager, which you know I think he did that to Scott Parker last weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we also saw Jordan Pickford there. England goalkeeper like yourself, Everton goalkeeper like yourself. He's had a lot of grief this season. If you could have one word of wisdom, I'm putting on your spot. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but if you got a word of wisdom, a little chat with Jordan Pickford, what would you say to him at this point?
Yeah, just keep training hard, keep working hard. He's got all the talent that he needs to be a top goalkeeper. Just keep going. You know, just keep working as hard as you can. You know, keep turning up for these games. And you know. Yes, there's been the odd mistake. You know, once he eradicates that, you know, we'll see him back to his best, and you know that's what we need going forward.
Yeah. So when you signed for Everton, you came in initially as looking like you were going to be backup. You became the first choice goalkeeper. For the second choice goalkeepers who are around at the moment, what do they have to do to kind of progress ahead of Pickford?
It's really difficult. It's more a case if you're a number two, you have to keep playing well. Your form has got to be really good, but it's often an injury, a suspension, or a loss of form of the person in front of you. That's your sort of chance. You know, so you know I guess there is a little bit of pressure on Jordan, having made one or two mistakes. You know, but he probably can't afford too many more. Otherwise, you know, start asking questions, and if he does leave him out, that then really, you know, gives him a really tough decision when to bring him back. So I just hope for some clean sheets from Jordan from now on, and then all that talk will go away.
Yeah, don't we all? Well, at the other end of the pitch, let's talk James Rodriguez. He had a decent game against Fulham. We saw his ability and his skill, like left, right and centre. Didn't necessarily have the space that he probably would have wanted against Fulham. Do you reckon he'll get more space today against Leeds?
Yeah, I think the way sort of Bielsa sets up, you know, he has his own way of playing, and so he doesn't tend to worry about other teams' setup too much. He just wants to play his way. So you know, other teams might do it slightly different. Scott might have sort of said we need to deny this player, you know, a lot of space, because you know he does create a lot, you know, and you see glimpses of it every now and again. What a great footballer he is. So I think he will get a bit more space today, and you know we'll hopefully see him shine.
Yeah, and well, Richarlison came back last weekend. First minute, immediately put the ball on a plate for Calvert-Lewin. How important is he to this Everton side?
Yeah, it was a big miss. I mean, you know, it's probably not. You know, it's probably down to the fact that he was out. The run of games that we went on wasn't so good. You know, he comes straight back in straight away. You know, his hunger, his desire. You know, creates something. And you know, Calvert-Lewin's banging them in. Yeah.
So I'll just interrupt you there, Nigel, because team news is in. Everton v Leeds, kick-off 5:30 UK time. Let's see what Everton are doing today. Jordan Pickford in goal once more for the Blues. It is a back three. Holgate comes in. Keane is also alongside him at the back. Allen sits in midfield. A solid defensive presence in the midfield, helping out that defence once more. Richarlison continues on the left-hand side for the Blues. Calvert-Lewin, Premier League's top scorer, of course, he starts. He couldn't not. Abdoulaye Doucouré comes in for some added fuel in that engine room, with Alex Iwobi in on the right-hand side. James Rodriguez back up front as well. Can't imagine an Everton side without him nowadays. And Ben Godfrey makes up that back line, with Tom Davis sitting in the midfield. And there's the bench down in front of you. So it looks like, to me, it's going to be in three centre backs, maybe with Davis on the left. I'm not quite sure. It's a very intriguing one. Alan, Davis, Decore in the middle maybe, and then do you reckon back four?
Yeah, this is where the difficulty lies. You know, he can mix it up, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start with a 4, and then if he, it gives him the flexibility to go to a 5 if he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it written down there. I need to see this again. So just to reiterate, Pickford's in goal, Holgate, Keane, Godfrey, Iwobi, Allen, Davis, Decore, James, Richarlison, and Calvert-Lewin. So we know the front three. That's easy.
We do.
That's James, Richarlison, and Calvert-Lewin. But then Holgate, Keane, and Godfrey, centre backs. You presume Iwobi will be the right wing back, continuing from last week.
Or Mason could, go. I don't know.
As the left back.
Go as the left back. He's
Can we grab Carlo? Can we get some answers from Carlo?
That would be very nice. But he's defensively minded, so he could probably sit in there. It probably won't be naturally onto his left foot, but he could certainly do the job if needed. So there is a lot of ways that they can go with it.
Yeah, well, we'll find out where Davis is playing before. I've seen him play full-back before for Everton. What could he offer to this Everton side? Is it just tenacity, or is it more of his technical ability?
That's his strength, isn't it? His tenacity, his hard work, his up and down into challenges, gives everything, and you need players like that when you're playing against tough opposition. He'll be going into the tackles hard, winning the ball, and then looking for people like Rodriguez, to do something a bit more special with.
Yeah. So I mean, just looking at the lineup again, it does seem to be quite an energy-filled midfield of Davis, Allen, Decore. Iwobi could be in it. We'll find out soon enough. Is that obviously going to be a key battleground for Ancelotti today then?
Yeah, I think so. He'll want, if it is a 5 and Iwobi's on the right hand side, he'll want him almost playing as a right winger all game. That means that you're on the front foot. That means you're pushing forward. What he won't want to see is Alex Iwobi, really being pushed right back into a right back position.
Yeah.
Which is not really his strength. I think he'll want to keep the ball, look after the ball really well. That's the important thing today. And then once you've got secure possession, then that sort of lets your wing backs go forward. They know that they're able to do that because it's nicely secured and there's no danger of a turnover and being hit on the break.
Yeah. So being a goalkeeper, obviously the defensive back line loves to see a solid, confident goalkeeper behind them. Is Allen the same as that, but in front of the defence, having that reliability in front of your back line?
Yeah, it's good to have. He's I think he's been a really good signing, to be honest. He just sits in front of that back four and breaks the play up, similar to the way that Leeds have got that sort of defensive midfielder sitting in there. So he does that job really, really well. He does protect the back two or back three, however we set up. Really, really well, and then he can tackle and then give the ball simply or to somebody else and move. And I've been quite impressed with him, to be honest.
Yeah. So last weekend it was Allen and Decore as like the two central midfielders. They're just full of energy, aren't they? They complement each other perfectly. Yeah,
they do. It was actually good seeing Decore getting into the box and getting on the end, for a header. I'd like to see a bit more of that. It's sometimes the both of them try and sit perhaps a little too deep at times. So this is an understanding that they're just getting together really and just developing. So given that at the right moments, I'd like to see sort of Decore getting forward a little bit more. That would benefit the team.
Yeah. So I'm quite surprised. I was expecting Niels and Kunku to start on the left-hand side today. Do you think he'll be disappointed not to be given the opportunity?
Yeah, I think if you're sort of second choice in any position and then the guy who's in front of you does go down, you automatically hope that you would be coming in. He's played a few sort of Carling Cup games and done reasonably well. Whether Carlo thinks he's quite ready for a Premier League game, he might just err on the side of caution on that one and go with a bit more experience.
Yeah, maybe. Well, an interesting lineup from Carlo Ancelotti. Incidentally, he's been speaking to our guys at Finch Farm this week, as earlier in the week the legendary Argentinian footballer Diego Maradona passed away, and this is what Carlo had to say about his experience of playing against him in Italy.
Maradona was a fantastic player. He was the best player in the world at that time. He came to Napoli, and Napoli became the toughest opponent when I was in Milan. I think we'd fight for the titles a few years. Napoli with Maradona was able to win the title, and honestly it was really unstoppable. I played against him a lot of time. Sometimes I was not able to stop. I tried to kick him sometimes, but he was so strong, so fast, and of course I have a fantastic memory of him, because also if sometimes I was not so correct with him, he always were composed, he never shout, he never complain. After the end of the career, I met him 2 or 3 times, and he was really a funny guy. He was really good man. Of course, he had a life very intensive, but I still have a fantastic memory of him. He was, and he is, and he still will be a legend of football, of course, because you don't know if was better Pelé or was better Maradona. At that time, for sure, Maradona was the best player on the planet.
What qualities would you say made him so exceptional?
Fantastic ability. He was fast, quick, in small space, and also his specific characteristic was to use really well the body to cover the ball, and unstoppable in 1 against 1. Fantastic finisher, and so it was at that time. I think at that time he was the only player that was able to win the games alone, and he did a lot of time. You don't have to forget that practically he won the World Cup in '86 alone.
How do you think his loss will be felt by the fans of Napoli in particular, because they really took him to their hearts, didn't they?
Yeah, because Napoli, they really loved Maradona. They love Maradona. They still love Maradona, because Napoli, with Maradona, spent the best football period in the history of this club. With Maradona, they won the title, they won the Serie A, and they spent 2 or 3 years with him in the heaven. Maradona brought the Napoli supporter in the heaven.
Do you have one particular memory that stands out of him from your time?
I have a lot of memory because, as I said, we were open for a lot of time, but the memory that I have, that I keep, is the fact that he never complained on the pitch.
It's difficult to say who is the greatest ever and comparing players from different eras, so he must be up there with the very best.
Yeah, it's really difficult to say who was better. Maradona was better. Pelé. It's difficult to say. Different era, a different style of football. But it doesn't matter. They were legends of football. I think that they help football to be more important in the world.
Yeah, it really shocked and shook the footballing world this week when we lost Diego Maradona. Carlo Ancelotti there with a touching tribute. And Nigel, obviously such a huge figure to have lost in the footballing world. What were your thoughts and memories of Diego Maradona?
Just as a kid growing up, watching the World Cups and things like that, and what an incredible footballer he was. You know, one of the best running with the ball that I think we've ever seen, and probably one of the best players we've ever seen. So it is a sad loss to football, you know, and you know we're sort of thankful that we were able to see him play as much as we did.
Definitely, and everybody talks about the hand of God goal, but the other goal he scored in that game against England is one of the greatest football goals that I've ever seen. So yeah, a tragic loss, a huge personality there as well. Great words from Carlo. And on Carlo Ancelotti as well, he's fast approaching his 12 months here at the club, coming up for a year now. What a difference he's made to Everton so far already. What have you thought about Carlo Ancelotti's first sort of 11 months or so with the club?
Yeah, I mean his experience of football is vast, and it's there for everyone to see. You know, he's managed some of the biggest clubs in world football, so you know we're gaining that benefit of that now. Also, he's a draw for players. You know, players will want to come to Everton because he's the manager, and I think that's a big plus side. And now there is a little bit more money, you know, at the club to go and, you know, buy these top players. You know, we're able to actually secure them, and you know, it's exciting going forward.
Well, I was going to ask you as well about the signings we've got there. You know, the likes of James Rodriguez, Alan. I think the fact that we have got Carlo Ancelotti allows us to attract players like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's worked with them before, and you know, that's always good. You know, as a manager, he'll remember the players that he wants maybe to take to the next place he goes to, and you know, Rodriguez, you know, the obvious quality that he brings that we've seen already early this season, you know, is great, and that is purely Carlo being the draw for that to happen. So, you know, we're fortunate to have him at the moment, and we've got to make the most of this time.
Definitely, and hopefully many more years to come as well, and hopefully many more big players. Hopefully James Rodriguez and the like won't be the last of players of that calibre to come through the gates of Goodison Park here. But yes, there has been news, of course, of supporters coming back to stadiums, Liverpool being in Tier 2, so there will be 2,000 fans allowed back to Goodison Park in the coming weeks. So we have got this week's supporters of the match, and they are a great bunch. I follow a lot of them and interact with a lot of them online, and that is the Irish Toffees. Check them out.
Hi, my name is Joe O'Reilly. I'm the chairman of the Irish Toffees Supporters Club, and today we're going to tell you a little bit about our piece of blue heaven right here in Ireland.
Hi, I'm Jer. I'm the secretary of the Irish Toffees. We have 360 members. The club covers the whole of Ireland, so that's the north and the south. The committee, we're based in Dublin, but it's run through the whole of the country.
The Irish Toffees was founded in 1992 in County Kildare by my late father, Jim Carney, Duncan Kenna and Eddie O'Neill. The aim of the Irish Toffees was to provide a place for Irish Evertonians to meet up and watch their beloved Blues, as well as help share news, media, merchandise, and help arrange accommodation and travel for those wanting to go over and see their beloved Blues.
The vast majority of the Irish Toffees fans are across the water many times a season. We've got a number of season ticket holders, and a lot of us are across the games whenever possible. I'd say a good 10 to 15 at each and every game, and sometimes 20s, 30s and even into the 40s are getting over.
Favourite player of all time? I have a few, but of all time is Trevor Steven.
My favourite player? Simple, Bob Latchford. The man walks on water. Doesn't get better than that.
Kevin Ratcliffe. Trevor Steven would run him very close second, just simply on his skill level and just natural ability. But Kevin Ratcliffe was just so solid, so solid and so reliable at the back.
Yeah, we meet up quite regularly to watch the games, obviously when we don't go, because we've quite a few season ticket holders in our club. But in Dublin we meet in the Woolshed Bar and Grill on Parnell Street. Another big meeting point is Clonmel, Gleason's down there, Derry, the Magnet Bar, there's quite a lot to meet up there, but we've pockets of fans all over the country, Cork, Donegal, Galway, Meath, so there's lots of meeting points. But what we like to do is 2 or 3 times a year what we call the Irish Toffees on Tour, where we go down to a local town or village, meet local Evertonians there, watch the games with them and have an event afterwards. We also like to do a lot of charity work. One of the biggest ones we do is where we play a football game against a local team to raise funds for a local charity. And one of the biggest ones we did a couple of years ago, we went up to Derry and played the Derry City Legends in the Brandywell Stadium. Kevin Sheedy came over and joined us for the Q&A that evening, and we raised just over £1,000 for the Oxford Bulls Down Syndrome football team. So it was quite a night up there.
You can get in touch through website irishtoffees.com. Social media, we've got Facebook, Instagram, we're on Twitter, regularly doing podcasts on a weekly basis, and we've a very active Facebook page, which is very good, and plenty of banter on a daily basis.
The Irish Toffees there, and like I said, what a great group of people there, a great group of Evertonians. And Nigel, you know, we talk about fans coming back into the stadiums. Obviously it's only a start, but it is a start, a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
It is, yeah. I know it's baby steps, just getting a few in, but hopefully, you know, with vaccinations and things, you know, coming around the corner, hopefully, you know, we get to see more of it and get back to a bit of normality.
Definitely. Well, you've played at this ground before, haven't you, with some 35,000 plus Evertonians rocking the ground. So the sooner we can get back to that, the better. Obviously, we're still a little way off that, but it's certainly coming. Positive steps. And speaking of positivity as well, there's definitely been a positive vibe around the place at USM Finch Farm this week. Let's have a sneak peek at how the Blues got on in training this week. Great stuff there. Richarlison always makes me laugh. Richarlison and Alan, they always look like they're up to mischief, don't they? But great to see the training in Finch Farm this week. Now, Nigel, you obviously played here under David Moyes, so I wanted to ask you, see what the training was like back in those days under David Moyes. Any interesting stories for us? Who was the best trainer, worst?
No, it was pretty serious under Moisey for the most part. We did have a young v old five-a-side on a Friday, which was very competitive.
Wow.
So I used to look forward to that. I was obviously in the oldies team that time.
Stubbsy, David Weir.
Absolutely, you know, it was made up of the old guys, and we kept playing until we were leading. And as soon as we were leading, that was it. It had to finish then at that point. So
home time now, come on.
Yeah, we used our experience there a little bit, but no, good times, and you can see that the lads are really happy there. That's a nice training session for the cameras. You know, the serious stuff will be happening when the cameras are not there, because you know you want to make sure that none of the Leeds spies can look over the hedges and see anything.
Well, that's it. You don't want to see any of them lurking around. No, funny of course that story that broke last year, but no, It's great hearing that about the David Moyes era. I mean, I grew up watching you in that side with the likes of Tim Cahill, your David Moyes, your Alan Stubbs, and it was fantastic. Duncan Ferguson, I asked you about the best trainers. I was surprised you didn't say Dunk to keep him in your good books there, to be honest, Nigel.
I definitely wouldn't have said he was the worst because, the last thing you want is Big Dunk knocking on your door. So, no, it was one of the pluses of coming, one of the many pluses of coming to Everton was Duncan was now on my side and I didn't have to go up against him anymore because he was a tough competitor to play against, I can tell you that.
Absolutely love that, and of course we're very, very privileged to still have Mr. Duncan Ferguson in the dugouts with Everton, which we love to see. Now, you have seen that we've been bringing you the Cazoo Challenge every time we have Everton live, so this is how our next group of supporters got on. Check it out.
Well, here we are again, back at the People's Hub for match day 4 to give more fans an opportunity to win the Cazoo Matchday Challenge. Well, the rules are simple. You get one shot from 12 yards to shoot through the Cazoo car to win either £1,000 cash or a car, all thanks to Cazoo. Let's give it a go. Good luck. Oh, good effort. Oh! Unlucky. Well, unfortunately, no winners again today, but if you'd like your opportunity to try and win the cash or the car, sign up at kazoo.co.uk/Everton. Well, no winners so far, but thankfully, Cazoo have given me the opportunity to try and win £1,000 cash or a car for Everton in the community. Let's give it a go. Get in there! Yeah!
How about that, Leon Osman winning £1,000 for Everton in the community by kicking a ball through a car window? Do you reckon you could do that?
Probably not, no.
No, all right, okay. Maybe it was 70, 80 yards down the pitch.
Yeah, I might have a chance there.
Maybe, yeah. Well, just a quick word on the spirit when you were in the changing rooms here at Everton. Who was your kind of dressing room buddy? Who were you close to in that dressing room?
Well, we were all pretty close, to be honest. Obviously, goalkeepers, we always seem to stay together a little bit. So, Richard Wright and Ian Turner, was there at the time, and Chris Woods, the goalkeeping coach. So we had our own little sort of department, if you like, inside the team. So I'd get over here really early in the morning. So I sort of spent most of the time, with the goalkeepers, going out a little bit earlier than the rest of them and getting some extra work done. With
the goalkeeper coach, were you always trying to do better than the goalkeeping coach? Like you'd always try and kick it further than Chris Woods, or catch a higher ball or something like that?
No. I mean, Woodsy was a great coach, and I enjoyed his coaching a lot. But what he was putting on was for me and Richard, really. So it was about doing it right. But we always did it with a smile on our face. We always had a good time whilst we were training. We worked incredibly hard, but we still did it with a smile on the face, and I think you do things better when it's like that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, team spirit's very important, and two lads who have shown great team spirit this season are Abdoulaye Doucouré and Luca Dean, and we had a bit of a game with them last week at Finch Farm to celebrate Thanksgiving. You can see the full video of this, by the way, on Everton's YouTube channel. This is just a little bit of a taste about what Abdoulaye Doucouré and Luca Dean got up to in the week.
Hi, I'm Lucas Dean. Hi, I'm Abdoulaye Doucouré. This is When You Stay On. Allez, first win. It starts. Los Angeles. Oh no! Ah. Chicago.
Indiana. Ah, Piston, I know.
Les Pistons même à la télé, ils disent
I know.
Boston. Non, Détroit.
Yes, Detroit.
Cardinals. Ouais, look the difference. Cardinals. This is Washington.
Arizona.
What's this? Alaska? No. I don't know. Hey! No. Grizzlies? No, maybe Toronto, no? No, Toronto. Ah, okay. Memphis.
Right.
Texas. Cowboys.
Dallas.
Dallas. Easy. Is it me? If you say the Spurs, I say the San Antonio. But yeah, for me. The Giants. Whoa, give him the trophy. No? Washington. Giants. New
Texas.
New York.
Yeah.
Look.
You won.
Okay,
Of course.
So you can see that full video sorry, on the Everton YouTube channel. Luca Dean with a 1-0 lead there. Will Abdoulaye Doucouré pull it back? Find out for yourself. So Nigel Martyn still with us. Just a quick word on your time when you played for today's visit. Leeds United, 250 odd appearances, wasn't it? Something like that. Pretty successful time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was a good time. You know, the team sort of progressed, qualified for European football most sort of years. So yeah, it was a happy time right up until the very end, when you know the finances of the club were, you know, they were in a lot of trouble, and you know, then they were looking to sell players. So you know, I wasn't in the team at the time, but it did, you know, mean that I got to play for this great team here, exactly. And had, you know, 3 wonderful seasons here.
So how did that quite come about? Because you were in your late 30s when you came to Goodison Park. Obviously, goalkeepers tend to have longer careers than outfielders.
Yeah.
You must have been pretty pleased to get the phone call. And
I was desperate. Yeah, I'd been a whole year sitting on the bench at Leeds. Being told that yes, we'd like to play you, but we're trying to sell Paul Robinson, so he's actually worth a lot more money than you are, given his age. So you know, they were telling me that he had to play. So you know, it's tough at that sort of stage of your career to sit on the bench. So just to get one more opportunity to show that you could do it. And when I got the call, I just jumped at it to come here. And you know, it wasn't just a case of just finishing your career out. I really wanted to do well. And you know, I love my time over here.
Yeah, well, you're certainly revered by the supporters for your time here. I mean, a lot of people called you Big Nige in homage to Big Nev.
Yeah, no, I got on with the supporters really well. I've been lucky to do that at all my clubs, and I think if people see you trying your best and giving your all for their team, they take to you really, really well. And you know, if you manage to make a few saves as well, that helps.
Absolutely. Well, I think it was the first season you signed for us, 2003, am I right in saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, great memory of that. We played Leeds United here at Goodison Park, and this is how we got on all the way back in 2003.
Ferguson's flick again, and Radzinski just hanging about for any little bits of scraps. Watson into Ferguson, Watson on the return, right foot, what a goal! Oh, that is stupendous from Steve Watson. It's his 3rd of the season, and it was every inch deserved for the Blues. Great bit of play between he and Ferguson. Fadden. Nice. That's a great ball too, and Radzinski could be away here. Robertson was caught, great interception. Watson maybe from distance. Oh yes! Well, that is unbelievable. We've seen the ball he mastered before. It was a difficult one to put Radzinski through. In every sense of the word, are difficult ones too. Cool, calm, collected. Matteo had no chance to keep that out. Hibbert with Sacco to beat, and he's beaten him with a plum. Right-footed cross from Hibbert. Big man on the back post. Well, off comes the shirt, out comes the tattoo. And Everton surely have this sewn up. With just 39 minutes on the clock, they are destroying Leeds United. The right-hand side's where it's all coming from, and Leeds just cannot live with Everton. ball though. Morris tried to win it back, and it's McFadden again, strong in possession. Does lose out in the end. Ollenby picks it up, Gravison. McFadden's back to rectify his error, and it's another nutmeg zone. Alan Smith, McFadden driving at defenders. This is a sight to behold. Brought down, but Everton keep possession. Ferguson over to David Unsworth. Unsworth's cross was a good one. Ferguson climbing. Watson, maybe Ferguson again. Watson with the chip. Yes! There's the match ball. Patrick Hunting and hat-trick getting for Steve Watson. 6 minutes into the second half. If it wasn't sewn up already, it is now. Great cross to Unsworth, causing all kinds of problems. Two defenders going for the same ball. Hat-trick for Steve Watson, and he's richly deserved it.
What a great day that was. I remember being here for that particular day as well, and you know, just looking at Goodison Park there with so many fans in celebration, you don't half miss it, don't you, Nigel?
Absolutely. It was a strange day for me because it was the first day as well that I'd played against Leeds since leaving them. I actually got a really nice reception from the supporters just down below there for that game, but obviously Watto to get a hat-trick was an amazing day.
Like you said, Steve Watson, I mean, of all people to have scored a hat-trick, he wouldn't be the first person you put on your list of people to do that. But some of the goals in there as well, I mean, particularly that one where he lobs Paul Robinson, who's no doubt somebody you know very well as well. It was fantastic. And Duncan Ferguson at the end in the Gladys Street as well, just to round things off nicely.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that it was a great finish. Steve's first time, back over. It's not an easy thing to do, and he did it really well. I think he got substituted later in the game, and all the lads were sort of celebrating with him, and David Moyes hadn't realised that he'd scored a hat-trick on the day, so there was a bit of banter flying around afterwards as well, so that was good. But yeah, big dunk, classic header, it's typical Duncan, that, wasn't
We've
it?
seen that before many times, haven't we, Nigel? I love that, though, that David Moyes didn't. I sort of remember that story loosely as well, so he's probably thinking, hang on, why is the gaffer not congratulated me here? Have I done something wrong? But no, brilliant, and a brilliant game. And of course, you just made reference then as well to the fact that you had just signed for us from Leeds as well.
Yeah.
And you got, of course, right behind us here now, you can see where the away fans sit. What was that like for you, playing for a different club? Did that get in your head a little bit, that they were being nice to you in a way?
No, I mean, it's a really nice thing to happen. I think they'd appreciated what I'd done at the club and everything, and understood that I'd moved, purely because, I wasn't playing, and it was an opportunity for me to carry on with my career, given that I was getting on in years, and to be able to come to a club as great as this was a real great opportunity.
Well, we absolutely loved having you here, Nigel, honestly. Certainly one of my favourite goalkeepers that I've watched in all my 28 years of being a Blue, so delighted to have you with us here today. And in terms of today's match against Leeds, do we have somebody that you see as being our key man today?
I think, well, we touched upon it earlier, James Rodriguez is the one that can unlock, any defence really, with a pass, a weight of pass, clever bit of vision, and put things through. But, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, his confidence must be so high at the moment, and he must be looking forward to every game and thinking he's just going to score 1 or 2 or 3 goals every game he plays in, and that's definitely a good sign.
It certainly is, Nigel, and we'd absolutely love to see DCL still top of the Premier League goal scoring charts after this evening's kick-off. But somebody else who has been very crucial to Everton's form this season so far has been Michael Keane. He spoke to us before. Check it out.
Well, Michael, firstly, how does it affect the rest of you when you lose a player like you have this week with Luca Digne to injury?
It's disappointing, but it's just part and parcel of football. It happens to a lot of players through their careers, and we know Lucas will be back better than ever. But yeah, it'll be a big miss for us. He's been brilliant. He got obviously 2 assists last week, but he adds a lot more to the team than just that. So it'll be a miss, but the lads coming in, it's a chance for them. So hopefully they'll do well.
So defensively, as a group, it's an obvious thing to say, but you'd be looking for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. Conceding far too many goals on the whole. So it's something we've been working on for weeks. We want to put it right today. It's going to be tough. Leeds are a good team, but we're at home and we've got a good record here, so hopefully we can start now.
What type of game do you expect? Listen to your manager yesterday say it's going to be open.
Yeah, it could be
Probably
open.
don't want to hear that as a defender, do you?
No. The way they play, it probably is going to be open there, man for man, a lot of the pitch. So it'll be a different kind of game to what we're used to, but we're prepared for it, and I'm sure it'll be exciting.
Brilliant stuff from Michael Keane there, as ever, and looking, no doubt, to keep a clean sheet for the Toffees today. But Nigel, we have got you back with us today, and it is lovely to see you back at Goodison Park. We've had plenty of fans in touch, getting in touch with their questions for you. So yeah, okay, this is a good one. I'll get to you first with the one from John Holmes. It might take you a while to think, but do you have a favourite save that you've made in a blue shirt of Everton?
I think any save against Liverpool is especially nice. I remember one at the Gladys Street end, a cross come in. I can't remember who it was now. One of the Liverpool players got a header from close in and managed to get a block on it. And Lee Carsley scored that day, and we ended up winning 1-0. So that was a particularly good memory. So I enjoyed that save.
Definitely. What a day that was, that Merseyside derby. I remember it very, very well indeed. The pylon, we've spoken about that before. I think I've spoken about it with Stubbsy, perhaps, the pylon with Timmy Cahill. Even though it was Carsley's goal, it was a great game, that absolutely fantastic game. So we have got, this is, right, no, fair enough. Dave Stewart has asked you, Nigel, favourite ground to play other than Goodison and Ellen Road?
I always enjoyed playing at Villa Park. I don't know why. That's a good old stadium. I prefer these sort of old stadiums with real character, and they just seem to have an atmosphere of their own. So I really love playing there, and we used to get some good results there as well. So I did enjoy going to Villa Park. Villa Park.
I think that's a great selection, actually. It's a lovely, as a fan, it's a great place to go as an away day. Yeah. Not when you're losing, though, because they make a hell of a lot of noise, don't they, to be honest. But yes, so we've got Billy Taylor also asks you, Nigel, as a goalkeeper, what are your thoughts on Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I mean, would you have fancied playing against him?
No, you don't. You don't want somebody. He's got it all, hasn't he? He's got pace. He's got power. He can finish either foot. He's good. He's good in the air as well. And you wouldn't necessarily want to be up against some of the best strikers. In my day it was more the Shearers and Ian Wrights and Robbie Fowlers and things like that, and they were tough enough. But Dominic's got to be up there with them. If he carries on scoring the goals he is, he'll become an England regular, and it'd be good to see the England striker being the Everton striker. That's good to have.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love that Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going to be right up there, trying to break records up there with Shearer and your Ian Wrights. I love all that, and he's certainly got the ability, hasn't he, Dominic? He's been fantastic. Gemma Upson wants to know, who was the best defender you played with? Now, you're going to have to be careful here not to upset anyone, aren't you?
Yeah, I was really lucky because we had quite an experienced sort of defence. So Alan Stubbs, Davy Weir in the centre. It'd be difficult to pick from one of those two. They both really put everything on the line. Probably Stubbsy, for me, he used to throw his body on the line every single week, and he was a great captain as well. So I'll go with Stubbsy.
Stubbsy, well, he was our last guest actually, number 4, and another number 4 we got here today, Mason Holgate. He's captain today, and I believe that's the first time he's captained Everton, and a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the young man. But Mason, he's great, isn't he? He's got an older head on his shoulders than years. How do you think he'll get on today?
I think he's going to have a good game. He's probably not been in the team of recent sort of few games, so he'll be keen to come back in and do really well. He's got the armband, so that's a bit of a surprise, but a really nice thing to have, and I'm sure he'll be keen to have another good performance today and win as a captain. That's what he'll want more than anything.
He will, as you said, he'll want to get home tonight and know that he captained Everton to a win, and hopefully that will be the case. So we've got Ashley Foster also, who wants to know, if it weren't for injuries, how long do you think you could have played for? Because of course, ultimately the end of your career, it was cut short through to injury, which is desperately sad, really. I feel like you could have played forever, couldn't you, Nigel?
Yeah, I think the mind was willing, the body probably wasn't going to be able to do that. I'm lucky that it happened when I was 39 and not sort of 19, and then you don't have a career. Yeah, I was disappointed. I'd actually been offered another year's contract. David Moyes had sort of said, well, you know, we'll do it anyway, and the easiest thing at that time would have been to have signed a contract, but we weren't sure, and that would have been doing it under the wrong circumstances. So we waited until the outcome of everything, and you know, it wasn't to be. It's a stress fracture that will never heal. So, you know, I've just got to get on with it.
Well, it is a massive shame, but there you go, Nigel. Not only a fantastic goalkeeper, but a fantastic person with integrity as well. Always got the club's best interest. But no, it was a shame. I think you'd have been playing up there until your 50s, probably, probably, Nigel. Last question, I'm going to come to you dead quickly with Nigel is Sandra Crichton wants to know, who's your best mate in football?
Best mate in football. It's really hard, because you get obviously to spend a lot of time with lots of different players. Goalkeepers, we usually end up rooming together, so you sort of become more friends with your roommates and whatever. And well, an interesting little fact, I'm actually still playing cricket at the moment, and I was playing cricket with Paul Robinson in the same cricket team last season. So I still know Paul from our time at Leeds, and you know, we're still mates to this day. So you know, I'm still going out there and doing a bit of sport with somebody you used to play with is good fun.
I love that, the goalkeeping union staying strong there, Nigel. Well, thank you to everybody for your questions for Nigel Martyn today. And Nigel, it's our time to say goodbye to you. Know you're going to watch this game now, so can I be cheeky and get a quick score prediction for you?
I think there's going to be a few goals, so I'm going to go 3-2 home win. I think we'll just edge it, but I think there will be goals.
Brilliant. Well, we'd take that, wouldn't we? Another man who would be happy with the 3 points today will, of course, be the manager, Carlo Ancelotti. Here's what he had to say before this kick-off.
Well, Carlo, since we've just seen you shake hands, I believe this will be your first managerial meeting with Marcelo Bielsa. Looking forward to the challenge?
Yes, of course. It's a pleasure to meet him. I think he's doing a fantastic job. He did a fantastic job when he was in Bilbao. I like his style of play. Because he likes football with a lot of intensity, and so we are going to expect a match with a lot of intensity tonight.
And I think you said in your press conference, maybe a little bit because of the way they play, it's going to be open this evening, an open match.
I think so. We want to try to win. We want to try to do all possible to win the game. It is an important game because we can climb the table with a victory. It will be difficult, we know, because as I said, it will be a game with a lot of intensity. We have to be ready there.
I know it's caused a lot by injuries, but it's an intriguing team selection. What can you tell us now about how you're going to line up? Not a lot.
I can't do it. No, I can't do it. I try to choose the best 11 to try to win the game, and so. Of course, we have to manage the situation that we don't have Digne, that was important for us. We don't have Coleman, and so I think that with this first 11 we have to be able to manage this.
Can I pin you down a little bit on whether it will be 3 at the back or 4?
At the back, usually 5. For this game, can be sometimes 5, sometimes 3. It depends.
So what about the jobs then for Iwobi and Tom Davies this evening? Slightly away from their normal jobs.
I think that Iwobi is used to play in that position, so not so used, but he has the quality to play. And Tom Davies, of course, put a lot of energy on the pitch. And I think that what we need tonight.
And last one, Mason Holgate, captain. What made you make that decision?
Yeah, because we have out all the captain, we have out Coleman, we have Digne, Sigurdsson is on the bench. I think for character, personality, he can be a captain.
Well, fingers crossed Carlo will be smiling a bit more in a couple of hours' time. Well, that's the end of Everton Live for this week. Thanks a lot, Sarah, for your support. And I don't know where Nigel's gone, but he's disappeared.
He's left. He's gone to get his lucky mascot outfit on for us today.
Probably, yeah. And he's definitely a pie and bovril kind of man, isn't he? 100%, yeah.
I hope so. I'm missing my pie and bovrils at the moment, to be honest with you.
So just a quick one. Prediction, scoreline, what are you saying?
I think I'm going to go with what Nigel said, actually. I said that earlier in the week. 3-2, I think there'll be goals. I mean, a 3-2 would be nervy to watch, wouldn't it? But a win's a win's a win. Let's just get the 3 points. Yeah. What are you going for?
Let's go 4-3. Why not?
Go
4-3. Got to go for goals. Yeah. Anyway, you can listen to the full 90-minute commentary, evertonfc.com for that, and we'll be back again in a few weeks' time for the game against Chelsea when there'll be some supporters in the ground. We'll see you then.